gorilla, nature. Bro, let's go skate. Dude, E equals MC squared. Nerd for life.
Whew. How's it going, you guys? How's it going? How's it going? Your boy, Pastor Darius here. I am excited, extremely excited to say the least. Here we are, another podcast episode. I hope you guys are ready to tap in. We're continuing in our reading here. We're reading from of course, the Ethiopian Bible, which is the literal translation, literal standard translation. But, today's topic we're talking about, again, this is another episode of Pastor Darius Knows Things. Let's hop right into this, man. This time we're talking about the test of courage. Woo! Let's go. Woo-hoo! So the Bible story that we're talking about today is Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel in the lion's den. This is and we're going to be reading from Daniel chapter 6, verse 10 through 23. First, let me just start off with the description. When a decree was issued forbidding prayer, any god or man except the king Daniel. Except the king, Daniel, knowing the consequences, continued his regular prayer to God. He displayed remarkable courage in his unwavering devotion. Even when facing certain death, God miraculously protected him from the lions, demonstrating the power of faith in the face of danger. Now, a lot of people don't know the backstory to this story. Right. And so pretty much the way it works out. Right. There's conniving people out there, in life. There's always there's people who are just straight up they're just conniving, man. They're always plotting, trying to figure out how to move up the ranks. Now, Daniel clearly had favor. And, so there are people who aren't going to like your favor, like the favor that is on your life. So Daniel had favor with God, and he was one of the king's advisors. Now, the issue with this is that there were other advisors who did not like Daniel. Straight up, bro. They didn't like Daniel. So they plotted, man. One of the main guys, he plotted. He was like, all right, how can we get rid of this Daniel guy? You hear what I'm saying? Straight up, bro, because he was really close to the king, and the king had favor on Daniel. So the other advisors, they didn't like Daniel because they wanted him gone, bro, because he worshiped a different god. You know what I'm saying? He worshiped this god, the God of the Jews, man, the God of the Hebrew people. And so they hated him, man. You hear what I'm saying? Straight up, bro. They hated him. So what one of these advisors did, he came up with this incredible idea. And he told it to the king. He was like, you know what, king, you are the highest of the high, right? There shouldn't be anybody worshiping anything else except for you and our gods. You hear what I'm saying? And pretty much worshiping you, pretty much the guy was saying, you're like God. You pretty much are the God. You know what I'm saying? You're the king of all. You're ultra powerful. You know what I'm saying? All that blah, blah, blah. And, that guy was up in the king's ear and all that. So the king, he's like, let's make a decree that nobody should worship any other God except for you, as I read before, right? Nobody should worship. Only one they should worship is you. You know what I'm saying? Now, Daniel, he faithful, bro. He faithful. Straight up, bro. You know what I mean? Straight up, bro. He ain't gonna turn away from his faith because it, benefits others. You know what I'm saying? So in the face of death, you know what I'm saying? He stood true to his belief system. What he believed was right. And that's what he did. He did what he believed to be correct. So essentially, we're going to go into the story. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the Bible scripture. Okay. So, We're reading from Daniel chapter 6, verse 10 through 23. And Daniel, when he has when he had when he has known that the writing is signed, has gone up to his house, and the window being opened to him in his upper chamber toward Jerusalem, 3 times in a day he is kneeling on his knees and praying and confessing before his God, because that he was doing it before this. Right? And confessing before his God, because that he was doing it before this. Then these men have assembled and found Daniel praying and pleading grace before his God. Then they have come near, indeed, they are saying before the king concerning the king's interdict. Interdict? Oh, that's a good one right there. Okay, interdict. All right, there you go. Have you not signed an interdict that any man who seeks from any god and man until 30 days, except you, O king, is casting into a den of lions? The king has answered and said, the thing is certain as a law of Media and Persia, that does not pass away. Then they have answered, indeed, they are saying before the king that Daniel, who is of the sons of the expulsion of Judah, has not placed on you, O king, any regard, nor on the interdict that you have signed. And 3 times in a day he is seeking his petition. Then the king, when he has heard the matter, is greatly displeased at himself. And on Daniel he has set the heart to deliver him. And until the going up of the sun, he has arranging to deliver him. Then these men have assembled near the king and are saying to the king, know, O king, that the law of Media and Persia is that any interdict and statute that the king establishes is not to be changed. So I'm going to pause right there. Right? I'm going to pause there because I want to talk about this, right? So what has happened is that these advisors, right, to the king have come to the king. And, like the fact is that the reality is that no man is in a kingdom, right? No man is without, I want to say, no man can even a king can be dethroned if the king makes a verdict in front of, because keep in mind, right? The king is powerful, but the king is powerful because of all the powerful men that support his claim to the kingdom. You hear what I'm saying? So all these powerful men, the advisors around the king, are saying, you've made this verdict, right? You've made this, you said that nobody in the kingdom is supposed to be worshiping any other god except for you. They're supposed to worship you, and so now they're pressuring him, saying, you made this verdict. Are you going to uphold this verdict that you've made? So they're cornering the king. You hear what I'm saying? They're literally cornering him into a position to where he's going to have to. And this was the plan all along. Remember, this is the plot. The plot was to get rid of Daniel. You hear what I'm saying? And so the king made this verdict, blah, 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 so forth, so on. Now he's going to have to render the sentence. You know what I'm saying? Because Daniel has been caught by multiple individuals. He's praying multiple times a day. You know what I'm saying? They've seen him. There were witnesses to this, to him breaking the verdict that the king has, that the king has stated and created this law that he created. So let's go ahead and continue on, huh? Then the king has spoken, and they have brought Daniel and have cast him into a den of lions. The king has answered and said to Daniel, oh my gosh, and said to Daniel, the king has answered and said to Daniel, your God, whom you are serving continually, delivers you himself. And a stone has been brought and placed at the mouth of the den, and the king has sealed it with his signet and with the signet of his great men, that the purpose is not changed concerning Daniel. And then the king has gone to his place, and he has passed the night fasting. Dahavan have not been brought up before him, and his sleep has fled from off him. Then the king rises in the early morning at the light, and he has gone in haste to the den of lions. And at his coming near to the den, to Daniel with a grieved voice, he cries, the king has answered and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, your God, whom you are serving continually, is he able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel has spoken with the king, O king, live for all ages. My God has sent his messengers and has shut the lions' mouths, and they have not injured me, because that before him purity has been found in me, and also before you, O king, injury I have not done. Then was the king very glad for him, and he has commanded Daniel to be taken up out of the den, and Daniel has been taken up out of the den, and no injury has been found in him, because he has believed in his God. Man, wow, that's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. How, I mean, do you have the courage to in like, let's say, because let's bring things to modern day and times, right? Now, I've been watching a lot of videos about the United States and things that are happening in the United States right now. Islam is becoming a growing presence. The Muslim faith is growing inside of the United States. Now, one of the big things that has happened in recent times, over in New York, is that they voted in a new mayor of New York, right? And the new mayor is, I think it's of New York City. I'm not sure if, the New York, right? So they brought in the new mayor, which is the Mandani guy, Mandami or whatever his name is. Excuse me. I know. I hope I didn't butcher it. But so he's Muslim. His faith is Muslim. So right now there are people in New York City, and they're people of great faith, right? The Muslim people, they're people of great faith. So the people are praying in the middle of the streets, man, like during the middle of the day. And they're doing the Muslim prayers, and they're doing this 5 times a day. Wake up early in the morning, afternoon, evening, so forth. 5 times a day, they're doing the prayers. The Muslim prayers, bowing down like directly, broad daylight, in the middle of the streets, intersections and stuff like that. You got streets that are blocked off, and they're doing these prayers. Hundreds of Muslim people doing this, right? Now, so, and it's not just there. Even so, like, I've heard tell that Sharia law is becoming big even in Texas right now. They're having a big thing that, Sharia law, which is like, the law system that governs all Muslims. In the Muslim countries, Sharia law, you break the Sharia law, right? They can like do stuff like behead you, like straight up, bro, like, sentence you to death, all types of stuff under Sharia law. So, this is a big thing that's happening right now in the United States. And, there are Muslims who are saying that at some point, the United States is going to become a Muslim state. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, like the Muslim people are going to take over the country. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to make the United States a Muslim country. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, bro, Sharia law going to be across the United States. You know, they going So this is what, this is a huge thing over there right now. We got all this stuff happening around the world. We got the war in Iran. We got all this stuff going on. So the question is, what if in the United States they made Sharia law the big thing? And so if that were to happen, what that would mean is that if you were a Christian, if you were Buddhist, you could be sentenced to death for praying to Jesus, for praying to Buddha, you know what I'm saying? Or for being atheist, you know what I'm saying? Or for all the devil worshippers praying to Lucifer, in Luciferian churches, for all the gay people, you could be sentenced to death for being gay. You know what I'm saying? Now, and this is under Sharia law. This is the Muslim faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have jihad, and so what if this was the state of things? Would you be able, and if you knew that praying to Jesus was going to be a sentence of death, right? That if you got caught doing this, that you would be sentenced to death, guaranteed. You hear what I'm saying? Would you have the faith and the courage to continue believing in the things that you believe, and praying in those things? You guys, go in the comments. These are for all the people out there, Christian, if you're Buddhist, or, if you're atheist, or whatever it may be, right? If you're watching this video, go and post in there. Let me know what you think about what's happening now in the United States. Will Sharia law be the new law system in the United States? Do you have enough courage to continue believing in what you believe if it did happen? Go and post in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about Sharia law, about the Muslim people, or the culture, the Muslim faith taking over the United States. Is it possible? Will it happen? Let me know what you guys think there in the comments. Go and post in the comments. Anyway, let's continue let's move on now. We're gonna hop into the historical story, right? We're gonna look at a historical story. This story is about Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in baseball. I tell you what, man, I feel like it's getting harder and harder to have courage to do what is believed to be right. I almost feel like it's almost like there's like justification for living unjust lifestyle, for doing what is wrong, because what is wrong has become popular, in the secular culture, right? We look at the secular culture, what I'm saying? Like, it's okay for people to be sleeping around with a whole bunch of different, like, guys sleeping around a whole bunch of different women. What I'm saying? It's promoted in the music, right? And then it's okay for women to be sleeping around with a whole bunch of men. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just is becoming common. We got, what's that one girl? Oh, there's something blue. It's the Caucasian girl, the white girl, man. She had sex with like 100 dudes, and then I guess she trying to figure out which guy is, and then it was all done on live stream or something like that. I don't know if all, but she was saying which guy is going to be her be the baby's daddy. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, bro. And then we got OnlyFans girls, women who are just displaying themselves on the social, on the OnlyFans and stuff like that, right? And men do it too, man. Don't get it twisted, bro. It's not just women that are doing it. Even men, you got people going to strip clubs, dude, man. They got some strip clubs, what is it called? Magic City over there in Atlanta or something like that. Huge strip club. Is that okay? Is that okay for women to be displaying themselves butt naked, dancing for money? You know what I'm saying? Up in the strip clubs and stuff like that, showing it all. Is it okay for women to do that on social media? You guys, again, go to the comments. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is it okay for women to display themselves half naked on OnlyFans? Is that their right? Because according to American laws, right, in the Western system, it is okay. right? Pornography is okay, right? I mean, porn is big in the United States, right? How many men are suffering from porn addiction? You know, is that okay for women, for a man and a woman to just be having sex for money? You know what I'm saying? Because that's literally what they're doing. They're just, but they call it, they do it under a creative license, right? So they don't consider it prostitution when they're filming, when they're making a video. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, it's prostitution. It's legal prostitution. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the man's getting paid, the woman's getting paid, the camera people getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Everybody making money off of it. So as long as everybody making money off it, good to go, baby. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you guys think, man. Go in the comments. Let me know what you think about pornography. Is pornography acceptable? You know, should OnlyFans be banned? You know what I'm saying? Should they put a ban on that? Should they put a ban on pornography, right? Like, you know, what if you had kids and your kids ended up doing OnlyFans? You know, like if you had a daughter or something like that, she became an OnlyFans, model, you know what I'm saying? Half naked up on that dog. Or if you have a sister and, or your mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would that affect you? Would you be okay with that? If you had like a cousin, like I got nieces, bro. I ain't okay with it at all, bro. None of that. I don't watch no pornography, bro. I ain't watched pornography in like, dang, bro, it's been like 20 years, bro. I ain't seen a porn in like 20 years, bro. I did it when I was like 17, bro. I thought it was 17, 16 years old. I was like rebellious. 15, I was trying to like, man, I thought like, I wanted to know about sex, man. I didn't know anything about it. I wanted to know what it was. I wanted to learn how to do it the best. You know what I'm saying? Like how to be good at it. So I watched a lot of pornography, man. And shoot, bro, like it was rot, bro. That's brain rot right there, man. That stuff is brain rot, bro. Like destruction of your brain, 100%, man. Anyway, let's continue into the historical story. Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in baseball. In 1947, Robinson courageously stepped onto the baseball field for the Brooklyn Dodgers, breaking the long-standing color barrier. He faced intense racism, threats, and hostility. His exceptional talent, unwavering dignity, and courage in the face of immense pressure paved the way for integration in sports and beyond, forever changing the landscape of American society. Wow. Jackie Robinson. Because, like there was a time, some time ago where, if you were African American, you weren't allowed, or pretty much baseball was only white people were allowed to play baseball. Straight up, bro. In the United States, only white people were allowed to play baseball. It was just, what it was. So finally, Jackie Robinson came in. And then when he did start playing baseball, I mean, bro, man, those white people, they was ruthless, bro. Like people, he was cleated. You know what I'm saying? Like they would slide and then they would like cleat him. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, like cleat him and like put their cleats like directly into your shin, causing blood and stuff like that. Like, bro, man, or they played like they were like if he was up to bat, they would throw the baseball directly at him and stuff like that. Ruthless, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they played dirty, man. And he had to deal with it, bro. He couldn't because if he would have snapped, and because the whole mindset during those times was that white people were good, black people were bad. You know what I'm saying? And that the black people were just trying to pretty much bring dysfunction and destruction into the societies and stuff like that, and that black people were like monkeys and uncontrollable animals and stuff like that. So they wanted to keep the purity in the sport. That was the mindset of the white people during that time, So, but hey man, things have changed now. Things are much better, right? We got a lot more equality. So You guys, I want to thank you guys, man, for taking the time to watch these episodes, to watch this episode. If you watched all the way through, you guys, we have a GoFundMe going right now. Please, if you can, you guys, don't disregard this. There's a link in the comment section or in the description. In the description, there's a link. Please go and click that link. And, you guys go make a donation, man. We're raising money to help kids over in poor countries. Why? Because for me, it's important. I run an international nonprofit. This page that you're watching, this is our nonprofit organization page, man. We want to make a difference in the world. Myself, the staff, the people that work with me, my other executives, and all the people who've worked with us. We've done projects internationally around the world, in India, in Africa, in Latin America. Over in Nicaragua. We've had projects done over in Argentina, in Chile. Had projects done. Literally, we've supported people over. Young people in different parts of the world, people in Philippines, people over in Russia. We've sent money to help young people internationally. It is our dream to make a difference too. And how we're doing it, how we're doing it, you guys? Through the supporting the youth through education. Are you hearing me? So what we do is we take our money, I've been taking my money and donating it to the nonprofit. I send it over to Africa. And, right now our main projects that we're doing is over in Ghana, in Africa. That's where our main projects are happening right now. And, we're buying school books and backpacks and school supplies for kids whose family can't afford to buy them those things. It may seem like, why would I want to support this? Well, let me tell you why. Because imagine going to school and I've seen the pictures and the videos of the kids over there, and I've seen what the schools look like. The kids go to the school and the chairs, everything is old, man. You know what I'm saying? My buddy, he told me he went to one of the schools out there in like the rural areas over there in Ghana in the northern region. And he said the room smelled so bad. You know what I'm saying? And then the roof is like, just like this like metal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's no state-of-the-art technology. There's no computers. There's no computer, what do you call it? This is like in the rural areas, right? We're not talking like the main cities. In the main city, right? Like Tamale and, Accra and stuff like that. No, we're talking in the rural areas. It's just that things are undeveloped. So these, like the school isn't really even a school. It's more like a daycare. So the parents can go to work. They just drop the kids off there. And then, a lot of the kids, what happens is that the people who are running those places, what they do is they just teach the kids about farming, because that's big over in those areas. Farming is big. So instead of them learning how to do math and science and all that stuff, they're learning only how to do agriculture. And so it puts them in a system of poverty, because the people aren't getting rich off of agriculture, right? It gives the people who are doing those things, it gives them enough to survive, And so we would like to support those kids so that they can, instead of going to school, and then if they are learning math and science, everything is written on the chalkboard and that's it. They don't even have notebooks. How are you supposed to retain information without a notebook? You're supposed to be able to write down what you learned so you can go home and then read, and then so you can look over your notes and stuff. Anyway, you guys, please go make a donation, man. We appreciate you guys watching this. It's your boy, Pastor Darius. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.